Who's up? And we're going to quit. Yeah. Ari, can we look at your post form issues? There's that one. Thanks, Greg.
Yeah, no problem. I'm going to mute my mic now and just lurk in the background.
Sure. Lurk and bask in the sunshine here. And Ari, do I call you Ari or Aaron? I never seem to remember.
Ari's fine.
Ari's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
So any luck with that repo I sent you today?
I don't know. I learned different things, but I didn't get it quite to fit my my project. Should I share my screen?
Yeah, let's get into it. And as everyone else who's on these meetings knows, we kind of just jump into somebody's code and ask questions. Anybody who's got questions, just post them in the chat. And we're going to get into some stuff here with Ari's code. And he wants to get into the requirement to post a form and post the data off of a form back to the server. So we thought we would get into that. You want to clean up your code. Okay. Josh, are you using the object model when the JSON comes back?
Yeah, the prototype.
Yep.
Doing the object model with this, and then
Cool. That's the first step towards it, cleaning it up. But we can take a look at yours too after this, and see what we can do for refactoring. All right, Ari. So let me just say hello to who else is on here, and I am recording everyone. So just to let you know, let me see. Where's the people? Gallery view. Greg, Susan, Ari, Joshua. And MF Crooks, I know you. Didn't we just do a meeting?
Yeah, we did.
It's Matt, right? Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
How's it going?
Not too bad. I'm not as far as I wanted to get yet, but I'm just making sure I keep up with these study groups. So I'm just
cool.
Here to observe.
Yeah, just jump in, and we're going to be, every Monday and Wednesday we get into this, and it's kind of hopefully everybody is facing the same issues so that it's relevant to everybody. And as we talk through code, I will call out things for everyone to observe, and we hopefully all get something out of this.
Cool.
All right, Ari, so what you got so far, the requirement, of course, is to put a form on the page, right?
Yeah, so I wasn't really sure how it works because I didn't want to land a HTML, to have the HTML already set there and then submit the form. Rather, I wanted to get the form through Ajax.
Mm-hmm.
And I was awfully confused.
Okay, so this what we have now, response, in line 16, is that supposed to be response with an R in front? Or am I not, my screen playing?
Yeah.
So that the response that came back, in this.href, which I'll get out my red pencil too here. What URL are we going to?
Okay, that's exactly it. So I didn't. This is like really in the middle of. I'm not 100% sure where am I getting this from. So,
okay, fair enough.
Because from the Rails part, I know where the view is, but I'm not really sure because this is before you logged in.
Oh, before a person logs in, you see this view?
This is a employee login form. That's what I'm trying to get over here.
Ah.
So basically, where is it? Okay, here it is. What I'm trying to get is you click on this, and I have prevent default. Basically, I want this form to pop up, but
not go to Rails. In other words, you're going to use Ajax to pull this form over.
Exactly.
Okay, and that form that's in a Rails view, obviously, right now.
Yes.
So you have two choices. You could certainly go to what's the URL that when you click that right button there, the employees login. What's the URL for it again? Let's just have a look.
The URL is right over here. I don't know if you could see it. Sign in employee.
But I want to see what happens up here in the browser.
The browser.
Yeah.
I'm going to use this one over here because this says prevent default. It's the same thing. It's just a different model.
Oh, so it's sign in underscore employer.
Right, and this would be sign in underscore employee.
So you could go to that same route to get this form and do it with Ajax, instead of actually navigating there, you can still go there. So as I like to say, Rails is still Rails. The routes in their Rails app are still doing what they do. We're just going to them in a different way now with Ajax.
So, oh, 1 minute. I don't know why I had in my mind that I'm gonna delete all the views.
No, you don't have to delete them. You started setting them aside and saying, instead of having to go to each view to see stuff, I have this one parking lot, single page application, like you've got over here with these divs that you did, these little placeholders. It's wonderful. In other words, we could do this whole thing all in one spot on the DOM, on the page. And you don't have to get rid of the views, but to pass the assessment, you have to render the data in these types of places like this using Ajax to show that you went to particular URLs, you got JSON data back, and you took the data and put it onto the DOM. Or in the case of this form, you went to a particular URL, you got some HTML back, put it onto the DOM. But you never refreshed the page, or you never had to navigate to a new page like normal Rails. You did it all through Ajax. So the trick is you're still going to the same routes that you always went to with Ajax requests. You're just not navigating there. So you have a route there of sign_in_employer.
Yeah,
that serves up your form.
Okay, so that was one question. The second question was, what is it called again? Like in an index, so you're already logged into something, so I understand what this is.
Mm-hmm.
But over here, before you're logged in, how would I create that particular, or I guess I'll play around with it, I'll figure it out.
Well, no, I think here's a good example. This form shouldn't really have any data yet, so I don't want to confuse the idea that this is a class object that has data from a JSON response. It's just an empty form. So let's scroll back up a little bit. So when you go to this URL, sign in an employer in Rails, you get the form. And what we're going to do here is we want to make sure that this thing we're clicking on, this A tag of ID employee-login, is really there. And when it gets clicked on, that we go, let's see, well, is it employee login or employer?
Right.
I mean, well, in other words, we should probably pick one, right? It seems like those should match.
Yeah, I made that mistake when I was doing the Rails.
That's fine. Let's stay right where we were. So that button that we click, this A of ID employee login, that might already have the href we want. It may have been entirely true to have this.href be your URL. I just wanted to illuminate the fact that we're going to a particular URL to get some information. Now we're doing a GET request because we want to get data. The kind of data we're getting, though, in this case, this is the one case where it's not JSON, because we're getting a form, an HTML form. So let's change that JSON to HTML.
And that's regular HTML, not capital, right?
It doesn't have, yeah, it could be lowercase, either one. And actually, even without that argument, you would get it by default. But this is a little more illuminating. We know we're going to this URL. We're asking, with making a request with a method of GET, and we're asking for a data type of HTML. But even if you didn't have this data type, by default, Rails is going to serve up this form. And what comes back, the response that comes back is not an array to map over. It's just a big bundle of HTML. And you're actually, it's easier than what you've got here. This is code that you would do when you're doing a JSON. You're getting data back and you want to loop through all the responses and turn them into objects. All you're doing here is saying, that response that came back, I want to put it on the page somewhere. So you can take out 16, 17, 18, or at least 16 and 17, because you'll still need these tag ends here. And then what we wanted, so yeah, I would take out 16 and 17. And you're on the right track here of the idea of using a class thing, but we don't really have a class object for this. You don't really need to do it that way.
It didn't make sense to me. I was trying to force it somehow.
Yeah, it's good though. You're following you're making the right moves. It's good. So really all we
always take this out. Okay.
If that's what it applies to, yeah. Yeah, so all you're literally doing is you've got your document ready, which in your console logging the fact that you loaded this file. Nice. And then
then I'm gonna basically take one of these.
Yeah, exactly. How do you find it? How do you find it? The selector for that now?
The selector?
Yeah, like how does jQuery know what these divs are?
It has an ID.
Perfect. Let's open up our Chrome console and show the rest of the contestants. I want everybody to see how you just know it, but I want everybody to see how we find it. Yeah, if you go inspect.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, there's also a shortcut like a.
Right.
Where's the? Okay, so now if you go to console, oh, you highlighted it. Beautiful. So it's a div of ID employee-div-ID. So let's just grab that ID so we know what it is. Or is that where we want to put the form?
Well, yeah, in this case, yeah.
Okay. So you can just copy. I guess it's going to be, yeah, that might work.
It's going to give me a bunch of extra stuff, but it's not a big deal. That's something append. Okay.
So let's just get it on there first, what the jQuery syntax is to identify it. Yep, in quotes.
Oh, it's actually just like that.
Oh,
okay,
worked beautifully. Good. Yep, and then just for fun, I would also put the div in front, even though it might work fine with just that ID. It's a good habit to get into. So right before that hashtag, the div.
So that's more for like readability, or?
Just once in a while, I've run into situations where I think it's listening to it, and it didn't work until I put the actual element in. So when in doubt, I throw it all in there. And then you could test, you could copy this jQuery syntax and put it in the console just to prove that you really are going to get the item you think you're going to get. And I think it's just a good habit. I'm constantly proving stuff without the period. Yep. If you hit enter, so now you've proven, yeah, jQuery is finding that spot. So we can reasonably expect that we could put data in there now.
And it would be like that inner HTML, or?
jQuery is different, yeah.
This would be, or this would just
plain old
be
.html.
.html.
Yeah. So if let's try it. .html, and then parentheses. Let's put, you give it an argument.
Oh my! What did I just do?
That's okay. You can up arrow, I think, to get back to what you had, or maybe paste it. Yeah. So .html, and you pass it an argument of some string, just to see it work. And you could literally just your name, whatever. Yeah, exactly. Beautiful.
There it is.
So the plumbing's working. All right. So now what we want to do is use that same jQuery syntax back over in our thing, our code, and we're going to set its .html equal to.
Question is, can I take, instead of having, because I put like for each, I mean, really it could be really all on the same page, but I like separated each
that's fine
file. So I'm thinking I could probably take from the what is it called again, from the view, and like take the actual HTML for that.
Yeah. Well, that's it. That is what you're doing. We're going to the sign-in page. Isn't that what you mean?
No,
that's a new employee page.
Instead of sending it to this URL, rather to have it. Okay, maybe it's too complicated. Never mind.
Oh no, let's follow the question through. I think what you're saying is, could I just grab this code and have it over in JavaScript land?
Exactly.
You could. You would use different. You wouldn't use ERB tags, and you could certainly reconstruct this form in JavaScript. And that is the second way to do it, and a great thing. I love it, and all worth it. Let's follow through in the first method.
Yeah, sure.
And then we'll look at doing it this way. So yeah, you were talking about where you're going to do that in your code. So you can just say, looks like you got two of them there. You could actually back up to here.
All right. So what line?
You've got like the same code in a row there,
Oh, whoops.
just from the pasting.
I don't see that.
So .html, now what are we going to pass it?
So over here, I need to pass in the HTML of that. No.
Yeah, you did an AJAX request to this URL with a get method of get. We asked for HTML, and on success, the thing that came back is this response.
This response. I need to pass in the
Beautiful.
response.
Yep. And it looks like you could just kind of back this guy up,
Right. Response.
Beautiful. And then the 916, let's take that one out, yeah. Now, this might work. The response that comes back might have extra stuff on it, but let's just see if it works. Let's go save it and run that button. Okay, Susan, nice. Yeah, OmniAuth and questions about the serializer. Yeah, we'll get into yours too.
It looks like it's working. No, actually, no. Sorry, whoops. It actually took me to, I think maybe I took out prevent default. Yeah, so I did, oh, here it is.
Ah, prevent default, good catch.
Okay.
So you saw it was like we had not really hijacked the button. It was going on to Rails land anyway, even though the jQuery was working.
I don't know if it was working. Because
I thought I saw like something come through.
And it was through Rails. Okay. Okay.
Now check that out. See what you have there? See how it brought in the entire page?
Right.
So if for everybody on the phone, does anybody know why that's happening and how we can fix it?
I think this has to do with the way how I have
it has to do with the data you brought back. You brought back an HTML response, which is like the entire page. So let's go to where this sign-in employee route is in your controller and check it out.
Yeah, that's view? This view?
The controller for...
Oh, the controller.
Yeah, whatever controller handles that sign-in employee route. So everybody on the phone, what you have to kind of, we're always trying to think about, well, what's talking to what? How do the pieces fit together? And every route in a Rails app points to a certain place that we told it to point to. So is that where we land?
I believe so.
Okay, let's look in your routes file just to be sure. So if you go to config, config folder down here, and then routes. I'm sorry, I'm scribbling all over the place.
Okay. Totally fine.
Like a cat and mouse game here. Routes. There we go. I'm looking for how?
Here it is.
Sign in employee gets me where?
Sign in employee goes to
session new employee.
Sessions new employees. Sorry.
Okay, that's all right. And session, so it's session singular, huh?
Yes, I made a mistake when I.
That's as long as it's consistent and fine. So now let's find the session controller, because that's the route. That's the controller where that route takes us. Yep. Session controller, new. So it looks like it lands us here, right?
Yeah, and then the views, I guess it's taking us
session
over here.
New. Yeah. How does it know a new employee is the? How does it know to show that? Could we see that new employee view that you have where your mouse is? In the partial, use your locals, create employee. Okay. Oh, so there's a partial.
Yeah, because I have the same thing for employers and employees.
So the partial shouldn't have the big old layout on it. So when you brought that form back, you were getting a whole layout. What I'm looking for is where we serve up this form. and to tell it not to give us the layout. We don't need two toolbars. We just want the form.
So you have layout false.
Layout false is what we want. That's the moral of the story. That's what we're trying to. Yeah. So if wherever you're sign in.
Where is that controller?
Is it the session controller?
It's the session controller. I just don't remember the syntax. So I'm gonna copy it from previous. Where's the job? Oh, yeah, I'm in jobs. Index, and it's something like this.
Right. Yeah. Although we won't actually use all that, you're just going to use the render layout false thing. Because in this case, we're not asking for JSON. We're just asking for the HTML. But what we want to tell it, is it create or is it the form? I don't know if that's where you want to do it. Like when you go to sign in employee, what controller action does it land in?
In the controller, so it's sign in employee.
Yeah.
So we're hitting this over here.
All right, so let's turn on that binding pry and make sure that we actually do land there. Pretty sure that's right. And that somehow is going to light up the new form. So if we click the button, we should see waiting for. Oh, I may have to refresh the.
Oh. No, I think I did refresh. Maybe because of this prevent default.
Yeah, you're right. But it should still hit the pry. Let's see what your terminal says right now.
Well, I didn't refresh.
Yeah, see that waiting for?
Yeah.
Let's go to your terminal. Hopefully we might have landed in that pry.
It doesn't look like that. Controller pry new.
Somehow you're rendering that form, and we want to hit that controller and tell it not to give us the layout. We want to have layout false. That's what we want. But anyway, that's a problem you can probably chase down.
Oh, there it is. Sorry.
That one? Oh, new employee. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, because your form is called new_employee. That's right. Implicit rendering. Everybody knows that when you go to an action called new_employer and you don't tell it anything new. Differently, Rails is going to look for a view with the exact same name, implicit rendering. So let's put the binding pry in there and see if that catches it.
There it is.
Okay, beautiful. So that's proving this is where we're getting. So what you want to say here is just render :new_employee, layout :false.
Render.
Well, not there, but in the code. Yeah.
So fine, I'll change it in a second.
Ari is the master of copy paste, everybody.
I'm not sure if that's something to be proud of.
I would be proud as hell of it because he's learned English for the first time, and learning to code is tough enough to let alone learning it in a language that you just learned. I think that's amazing. So
layout, and I am doing
render. Yeah, exactly. The name of the form. Yeah.
I believe this should work. I'm not sure.
So we're hoping now that the button shows up, the form shows up without
bringing that prevent default again.
Okay.
And
let's refresh.
Oh, right.
And probably go back to.
Something is wrong here. I never exited the pry.
Good. Okay. So now we're going to hit the button. Beautiful. So the form you have retrieved an HTML form from Rails without navigating there and put it on the DOM. What else has happened?
And
hey, let's look in your JavaScript for a second. I don't remember where we actually called the employee login form function. Why is it working? So line 5, that's a function. Right. How come that's actually...
That's a button. That's an ID.
Yeah, but we didn't...
Are we calling it?
We didn't call it, did we?
We did over here in index. It's a different... Basically...
okay.
Like I have one file of index, and then every model is something else.
So in other words, everyone, here's a document ready in this file, and he called employee login form, which made that button listen. Just for fun, Ari, can you comment out this guy?
Line 4?
Yeah.
Sure.
And then save the file. Let's go back to the browser and refresh, and let's do it again and see what happens. And now we click the form. See what happened there? Ajax did not do its magic. It didn't happen because his function that had the listener in it was not called. And as you guys have all heard me say, it's one of my new dad jokes. Just because you define a function, if you define a function in the middle of the forest and nobody invokes it, it's as if you didn't, it's not there. So anyway, Larry, let's go back and comment that thing back in. So it's there's a few things going on. We're listening for a button in a function that's going to do something, but we're also calling the function that fires up that listener. So now that that's commented in, his button will work.
Quick one, is it best practice to have maybe an app div ID and everything is sent to that one ID?
Well, that's a whole nother design decision. Right now, just getting it onto the page is going to make you'll pass the assessment just getting it onto the page. So yeah, that's what you've just reinvented React. I mean, that's what you're going to do in React and JavaScript front-end applications is you're going to very strategically have the main app window, and then in it might be a nav bar that you put in, and under that might be other boxes that you fill in at will. So that whole strategy is a design decision you could make and have them nested under each other so that the nav bar shows up everywhere. But the point is you're intentionally placing everything on the DOM by your design. There's no happen chance, and you're sort of taking control of all the steps. But right now, having this dummy text over here is great because then you really know it's definitely there. You can confirm what its CSS selectors are, and you can create your Ajax requests that fire it up and replace that data. So all good. Your next challenge is going to be filling out that form and submitting it. But we want to move on to some other folks for this meeting. Everybody gets something out of it, but at least you got a form going.
Yeah, thank you so much.
But also, before we leave you, Ari, let's go back to your code one more time. I want to show how you, let's go back to where you were, let's see. This is the Rails way, or this is the way that you grab an existing Rails HTML form and just bring it over. You could also create a form in JavaScript. So remember that code you had that said login form class?
Yeah.
Let's just look at that for just a second.
Oh, I deleted it.
Oh, okay. Well, in the employee, let's say that we're talking about an employee here. Let's go to the employee.
I have something very similar, actually, from
the
previous thing. Yeah.
I just want to show one quick technique.
There's in jobs.
Someplace where you have a class. Okay, great. So you have a class job with a constructor. So between lines 29 and 30, you could create a form in there, and that would be a place where you would. Like you were talking about, couldn't I just take this code from Rails and just graft it into JavaScript? Yes, you certainly could. So the difference is that we're going to have a static function inside the job class, which is like a class method, versus this, which is an instance method. I cannot call job HTML unless I have an instance of job to talk to. So if you make some space between 29 and 30, we can stub it out. I'll show you what I mean.
Between 29 and 30.
Yeah. So we're still inside the class job, definition. So let's put the word static, lowercase, static. Yeah. And then a space. And then let's call this new job form. Starts with a lowercase and just, new in camel case. New and then capital J-O-B.
Oh, capital.
Capital J and then O-B. New job and then F, capital F form. Yeah, it can be all next to it. It can be all one. You don't have to put a.
Oh, whoops! I thought I was doing.
It's okay.
I'm just so used to of Rails that.
Yeah, it's funny. The conventions here. Yeah, so new job form. Yep, and then a couple of parentheses, and then after that, last those parentheses remain together.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, and then after that second parenthesis, you put some curly braces open and close.
Okay.
Yeah, and then now we go to the next line with that line. So inside here, let's put the word return, and then then a space, and then two parentheses, open, close, normal parentheses, and then inside of there, two backticks.
Oh.
Beautiful. Now, right where your cursor is, let's take that down to the next line. So we have a multi-line and one more. Yep. So inside lines 32 and 33 is where I could design a form. And it could be any HTML I want. But my point here is I can now call capital J job dot new job form. I don't need an instance of job to call this. I'm just talking to the job class. And that's the difference between using the static keyword and calling it on a prototype of job. Does anybody have any questions about that or any comments?
Very cool.
Yeah, it's a very convenient, and that would be the second way to get a form onto the page. So, and I happen to put it here just because you had already made yourself a job class.
Right.
All right, cool.
I'll use that.
All right, so that's a start anyway on that.
Yeah.
Let's jump to the next one, Joshua. Let's look at your code to clean up. And
how do I stop sharing?
I think. Let me think. How does that work? You might have to click Stop Share. You can find it.
I think I did.
Looks you did. Yeah. Okay. Joshua, you're up. And tonight's Bachelor night, I have to tell everybody, and I'm about to become a YouTube sensation. People watch The Bachelor, right? And it's a silly show. Watching me watch The Bachelor is actually entertainment. I'll get me started on that. But so I'm going to try to end at 8 because my wife she got her cousin here, and the two of them are going to watch The Bachelor, and that's a show in and of itself. Anyway, so let's see what you got, Joshua.
I have not opened this project, and now I'm having issues. I'm getting my project won't start. It's saying it's can't activate SQLite. Wrong version. Hold on, I just need to update my gem file, I think.
That seems to be set. Did you post about that somewhere? Because someone else was posting about that very same problem today.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is, but I just need to update my gem file to include a version, I guess, to force it to install it, I'm assuming.
So Joshua, have you and I done a kickoff meeting? I thought you were a different Josh.
No, I mean, I'm in and out, and I need to get this stuff done.
Okay. Well, if we haven't done our meeting, let's do one. Put your email in the chat, and I'll send you the invite, and we can have a meeting. Get you rocking. I thought you were a different Josh, actually.
Yeah, but just to kind of give you an idea of what I'm trying to.
Yeah.
Let me. It does not want to do that. Let's see if it'll install the right version of it.
Are you trying? Are you? So it says you started sharing screen, but all I see is black.
Yeah. It might be because it's the wrong. Oh. There we go. Is that better?
Yeah. You can see it now.
Okay. Yeah. So let's see. I keep getting a bunch of nasty messages.
Which version of Ruby? Oh, did it start?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I was trying to do. Oh. Oh, maybe this will work this time. No, it doesn't want to. I changed my username on my Facebook and it kind of screwed everything up.
Can you just log in as a normal person?
Yeah, but I don't have a bunch of content for those.
Yeah, that's what. Then we got to get you get a seed file built for sure. Y'all know what a seed file is, right? Where you can have some custom data.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons to have one. Really makes life different, like makes it easier.
All right, so here is my code. Let's see. What was it giving us an error for? Anyway, here's my code that I want to clean up. I think it looks ugly. I've put some stuff in here.
Yeah, I would get the linter. I would get this Java. You know how you can have these extensions in VSCode?
Yeah.
You can. Let's see if I can find the right one here. Let me. I'm going to switch back to my screen for just a second to show everybody. Share. Desktop 1. Okay. Oh, get that out of the way. In VS Code, you can hit this button here at the bottom, and it will show you all of the extensions you have, and it'll show you this whole marketplace of extensions.
Right.
So somewhere in here, I have something about HTML, JSX. Which website is it? Huh. Well, I have a JavaScript one. Actually, I don't think I have an HTML one. Let me think about that. So that indentation that you have going on. So here I am in a view. Let's say I'm in here, and let's say I mess around with these, and they're all over the place. You know, they're just all screwed up. And I click Save, and it doesn't do a darn thing. See, I don't have a linter for this one. Oh, that's because it's a ERB. So I'm going to end I'm going to end it in HTML. I'm going to change the ending of the file. Now save it. And it just totally makes it beautiful. It just indents everything perfectly. I don't have one for ERB. And you can also get one for JavaScript. So here in JavaScript, so here's JavaScript. Let's say I jack this all up. Or I did, you know, all my guys are all messed up and, you know, looking weird. I save, and it just, boom, fixes it. That's because in here, in preferences and settings, I have format on save. Sorry, format on save. Format a file on save. A formatter must be available. The file must not be saved after delay, and the editor must not be shutting down. So I've got that checked, and it just makes life so much easier. So if you're not on VS Code, definitely check it out. You can do this in any text editor. You can do it in Atom. Sublime, whatever one you want. But I found it the easiest to manage here in VS Code. It's just another vote for why I use VS Code. So that's one quick way to clean that code up that you were showing. As far as refactoring it, that may be some other things we can get into too. But let's have you. I'll schedule as kickoff meeting, and we can get into your lint and prettier. Exactly. Is that right? And Nee? Should I just look up lint and prettier? Let's see, lint, prettier. Does ring a bell.
I can't get my console to start. I have another user that has content for each one of them, but I can't get the console to start so that I can do an @user display all command. Oh, but wait, hold on. Let's see.
Yeah, prettier. There's a whole bunch of ones to try here. Prettier plugin, you check them out. I look to see how many people have downloaded it. That looks like a lot of people. VS Code to format your JavaScript, TypeScript, CSS using prettier. What I want is one for ERB. And I don't think, let me see if I can do that. ERB, search for one here. It's Ruby simple ERB, code snippets, lint, syntax highlighting for Ruby. I want syntax highlighting. I want it to ERB format or beautify. And then they show you a little video of them using it. That kind of looks like it. I'm going to install this and see if it works. And I may have to restart VS Code. I'll do that anyway, just for the heck of it. I don't know if I actually did or not. Quit VS Code. Now I'll go back in and
there we go.
Got it? All right, let me just quickly see if I got that right here. PSA, CD PSA, dev, proj, PSA.
It's kind of annoying that my console doesn't work. I'll have to figure that out.
Yeah.
The app's running fine. It's just I can't get into my console.
Okay, so views. Let's see, coaches, show page, something a little more stuff on it. All right, so this is the RB tags. Let's see let's see if this linter works like it says it did. Didn't.
Yeah, I can't get the linter to work in my JavaScript file.
I got that one, but not the CRB one. Oh, well, wait a minute. Did you all see that? All right, that coach over here is way over there, right? Now watch me save the file. Save.
Yeah, it takes a second for it to do it.
Beautiful. All right, I'm glad you brought that up. So now I got my ERB tag. It happens a lot faster in JavaScript. Let me see.
What is that called?
It's called a linter. These are extensions that you over here in VS Code. You can click this bottom button and see the extensions that are, it's sort of like little overlays of handlers or just code that can run inside your editor. And you can have syntax highlighting and a lot of different little creature comforts for whatever you're working in, like React or like this material icon theme. I've installed that so that when you look at my list of files and folders, they have little special icons. Like that's a folder. See that little JS? That's a JavaScript file. Here's a Ruby file. Maybe I have some CSS somewhere. Style sheets, CSSs look like that. So it's just a convenience. And anyway, that's one of the extensions I've installed. But just now I found this ERB syntax highlighting. And then by having the preferences, settings, format on save checked, it means that when I save, my formatters kick in and make the file pretty. Right. And it really, like here's JavaScript.
I can't get it to work with JavaScript.
Watch this. I save, bam. Very satisfying. You know, this is how they sell weed whackers, TV commercials. They sell a weed whacker. for your lawn because everybody loves to see those pretty lines. That's how they sell it, you know. And this is like, oh, look at that. But what's nice about this too is it immediately shows you problems in your brackets and stuff. So that let's say you're down here working on this code and you save the file and you can't tell if you've got the right amount of brackets and stuff. Well, this is all jacked up down here because when I click save, it tried to format it as best it could. So it helps me kind of see, and then I want to light up this bracket. It kind of shows me its brother up top, and right next to it is a regular parenthesis. So let me put that one in, and then so this whole function starts up here in line 19. Let's see about that. That one doesn't have a pair. It doesn't know where to land. So maybe that's what's missing. I do that. Now I click save. The bottom function gets all pretty exactly the way it's supposed to be. So you start to getting, your eyes begin to accustom to seeing really well formatted code. You end up coding smarter, and it catches problems and kind of gives you some hints along the way. So anyway, that's that. Let me go back to, so Josh, are you able to show your screen, or should we?
No, I can show it.
Okay, let me stop my share. Yeah. Okay, fire away. Yeah, Sarah, you had a problem with SQLite 3. I end up doing now Postgres QL for all Rails apps that I do because that's what I can use to pump it up to a Heroku. So I never use SQLite anymore. I always tell it dash database equals PostgreSQL whenever I'm creating a new Rails app. Not that that's bulletproof, but all right. So yeah, let's see what you got.
I don't want to hide the drop-down thing. So, anyway, I'll just
hide the extensions?
No, I'll hide the controls for the...
You got to just move it out of the way. We don't see it.
Oh, that's right. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
All right, so basically, I think this looks like garbage. It's a lot of stuff. And I have one for firearms, I have one for outings, and it all looks like garbage. And I think like all this top stuff right through here, all the fetch, you know, I would think that this could be better compartmentalized.
Well, let me look at it for a second here. So barrels.forEach, barrel,
here,
new barrel, you're calling the barrel class. And then barrel HTML, hold still. You got to stay in one place for a second. Okay, barrel HTML equals new barrel dot format index. Yep. Then you're console logging it. I mean, you've got comments in there and some console logs you might want to take out, but the indentation looks pretty good. It's app container append barrel HTML dot wrap inner. Oh wow! So you're adding. So what does wrap inner do?
It's what the heck?
The only thing that wrap inner thing, it might be something you could do within your barrel HTML function. But that if it works, what does dot wrap inner do?
Dot wrap inner, it's adding cards. It's adding bootstrap classes to my
barrel HTML.
Yeah. It's actually they're just cards the way you'll see. There we go. So I got these cards.
So let me ask you this: the card for one of the data for one card, you spin it up. It's got a show and edit and add delete button at the bottom, and you have a layout there: the caliber, the type, the length, the twist. Why can't you add those classes to that custom HTML that you're building there in JavaScript? Why the wrap inner thing?
Well, because what's going on here is this is like the outer. Well, here, we'll just look at this.
Oh, so when you call, yeah, okay.
And let's go to a smaller one. So you've got.
I see. They all sit inside. You've wrapped them all.
All right.
And so when you call barrel HTML, the barrel HTML is one card.
Right. So
I see. That's nice. Yeah.
You've got a 4, I think like this, the prototype stuff, the barrel, all this stuff, I want to maybe classify that. I don't know. I mean, I just think that there should be a better way for me to structure my code where it's not, I mean, this file just looks gross.
I don't know. I think it looks pretty good, actually. You're using a barrel class. The only thing I would change for the assessment, if you scroll up a little bit to line 30-ish, function barrel, I would change that to class barrel with a constructor and then pass the barrel in as an object, just because that's what they want in the instructions, even though this works exactly the same way. I would just use class constructor syntax just to make the assessor happy. But
Okay.
It's indented. It's readable. The HTML down here inside a barrel HTML, that's not getting linted as nice as you might want.
No, it's not at all.
So you could just literally back this over and play with all the indentation, but it's still there. And I don't know if if the linter in JavaScript is gonna save it pretty or not.
I don't think it will.
But conceptually, I don't so far see any real issues as far as cleaning up this. Yeah.
So this is as far as I got. So this goes into, and I don't think this isn't. This is a view. This is a Rails view. It's not JavaScript.
Okay. So that code we just saw, where are you using it? The HTML code.
Just on this page.
Okay. So at least you know what's what and what you've done and haven't done. So I'll tell you what we'll do, Joshua. Let's have a meeting where you and I get into the weeds on this and how your project's going to meet the requirements. Did you put your email in the chat?
I will right now.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to give take a minute and give some time to Susan. Could you put HTML into handlebar script? Exactly, Nee. You could definitely do that. That's the third way to do it. So first way would be pull a Rails view over to have a form. Second way would be create that HTML in a custom JavaScript function like we've demonstrated with Ari. Third way, use a handlebar template and park your HTML on an HTML page and refer to it with handlebar tags. Not tags, but variables. Yeah.
Right.
Definitely could do that.
I've considered implementing a template engine. I don't think that's a requirement to pass on to this.
No, it's not.
The Rails and JavaScript app, I'm going to use this and build the React app. So the end product will be React. So I don't want to spend a lot of time with the templating stuff because this isn't actually, I've got a domain name. This is going to be a product for,
portfolio.
shooters,
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want to spend a lot of time doing that. I thought that there would be some way to clean up, better manage the JavaScript, I guess, in a more module type fashion.
Yeah, without going crazy on it, it's pretty good what you've got. And you separated the barrel stuff into the barrel.js file. You might get into that a little bit. It all could live in one huge, humongous file. You could also break it out into different files. The fact that you're using class model objects and prototype functions cleans up a lot of mess and takes care of a lot of one-off coding that would have otherwise happened.
Right.
And you're right on not to bother transforming your entire Rails app for the purpose of this assessment, because it is a hybrid stepping stone exercise. We're literally grafting on these particular requirements to show that we know how to talk to JSON, we know how to serialize data, we know how to pull it back with AJAX. and do these specific things. But the app you end up with is kind of neither here nor there. It's a little bit of Rails, it's a little bit of JavaScript. And ultimately,
Right.
yeah, you're going to have Rails is going to be an API that just serves up data, and then you'll have your front end flavor of the day, whatever's popular, and you know, don't waste a lot of time on it. But on the subject, let me quickly give you guys. There's a link on my site for Rails.js, and I'll put this link into chat and send that to everybody. Let me share my screen for just a second, then we're going to go to you, Susan, if you're ready. So desktop 2. Okay. So here is this link I just gave you in the chat. This is a brain dump of a lot of the issues that you run into in this project. A lot of the links, and there's a little video of working through some code together with somebody. Speaking of templates, Matt Casera, who's one of the team, he's my team lead here at Flatiron, is a great developer. He has a handlebars tutorial right here, and this linked in this thing I just gave you guys, where he goes through and does a basic CRUD app with handlebars in JavaScript. So I thought that was a really nice thing that you had there, and it just, if you wanted to go the route of using handlebars, this is a better instruction than's in the curriculum. The ones in the curriculum are a little bit too cryptic, and everybody complains that they don't quite get it or whatever. It's just harder. He walks through it pretty nicely in this blog. So there's that. All right, Susan, you up.
Just in time to tell you I'm not staying because we've gone over time again.
You just you want to go watch The Bachelors is probably what you're really saying, right?
Oh, it's probably something else, if nothing else, Netflix. So I will shoot you an email, but I did want to give a plug for Codecademy because you know how much I have struggled with JS. And not only have I done a couple of their courses on JavaScript, but buying the full price thing, which was like less than $200, every morning I get a, you need to practice, you need to review. And it is the coolest ever. So
which class? Can you paste a link to the chat to the class you took?
It would be the web developer part. I annoy them because I don't start at the beginning. I jump right into intermediate JS.
And how much was it?
For a year of belonging to Codecademy, 196 something.
Not too bad.
Yeah,
find what works. Yeah, definitely.
And they're nice little chunks, so that works with my learning style. So anyway, I will shoot you emails and screenshots if I'm still having problems. But I've graduated. I haven't graduated, but
graduated from what?
I've graduated to actually doing this myself.
Okay. Well, great.
Props. And thank you all. I will catch you all probably Wednesday.
But Susan, did you do the project? Did you finish the?
Oh, hell no.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what you meant by graduated then.
I graduated from I watched Avi's videos. That's what I really have graduated from. I've graduated from watching Avi's 3-year-old videos, which are still pertinent. I had to stop those things, back up, freeze frame.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy. That guy talks like a machine gun. But you were absolutely right. Putting myself through it over and over, it worked.
Yeah, that's what I had to do it 3 times before they clicked. And of course, the way he's doing it in those videos, and everyone she's talking about the Rails and Ajax videos. There's 4 of them in the curriculum. I transcribed them 3 times, and they don't quite. If you do exactly what he does in those videos, you won't pass the assessment because he's doing a couple of different techniques. The default remote true thing is not a part of it, but also he's bringing back literal HTML snippets and putting that on the DOM, and that's not what we're doing here. We're doing JSON data. But anytime you code along with somebody and get your screen to do exactly what they did, your game changes, and it's the best thing you could do with your time for sure.
Yeah, that was groundbreaking. When my screen did the same thing, I think my husband thought I'd lost my mind. So,
well, that's great to hear. You got to find what works for you. That type of learning really works for me. I know other people don't like videos quite so much, or coding along with videos. and Lavi himself will tell you he's kind of against it. He's a reader, you know. He's able to read. I fall asleep when I read, so I had to find something to work for me, you know.
Yeah, you're right. We have to find our own style.
Yeah.
So anyway, but these kinds of sessions really help me a lot, and I learn a lot from my colleagues, and I appreciate that. So
Very cool.
I wish you a fun to do, and I'll probably talk to you Wednesday.
Sounds good. Everybody, thanks for joining. I'll probably post this recording because we had a few good things we covered today that we were sharing. So thanks for coming every Monday and Wednesday nights, 7 o'clock. Have a good one. Thanks.
Bye.